So I'm here with Chez Damier, a very old friend who I first met in 1992 and who gave us so much inspiration behind the label 2020 Vision. As we turn 30 years next year in 2025, it was just, I really wanted to catch up with him and just chat about how we first met and the inspiration that he gave us and the label and me personally and what we did together as the band Chuggles. We made several tracks together and just to catch up because Chez played such an important part of it all really. So lovely to see you again first and foremost.
Thank you, man. Good to still be around.
I know. Yeah, because I think I always feel like you're one of those people like, I'll literally be on my deathbed and they'll just be like, you might not have seen you for 20 years and they'll just be like, text from Chez, oh, hey man, how you doing? And I'll be like, it'll be exactly the same as it's always been straight away.
That's amazing, man.
But
that's amazing. That's amazing when you have that kind of communication or relationship with someone that you could, it's almost like the next time. I remember speaking with you. I was in London once, and I remember on the phone. It was a crazy time of the night or morning. I think I had played a gig. I don't know. Someone had reconnected me with you or something. I remember being on the streets of London, calling you at this time. I remember us having a chat. Yeah, that's crazy. But it was almost as if no time had elapsed.
Well, it's just there's certain people in your life, though, and I have a couple of very, very good friends, best friends, that, honestly, I won't think for ages. I mean, life, we get busy, we go off, we do our own thing, we come back around, but there seems to be this circle. Then it's the time to like reconnect again. And it's like within, a few minutes, it's just like, you're just right back in there. There's no need to reestablish the relationship because it's already there. It's, and you're definitely lucky enough to feel that way with you. And, we first met in New York in 1992. I think it was. Is that
and
right?
Actually, I totally forgot. I don't even know. I forgot.
Let me remind you.
No, you remind me.
Sound Factory.
Yes.
And we met, and there was a guy called Jimmy Malo who was running Prescription Underground.
That's right.
And he was friends with my friend Steve Grimes. Who was my best friend from university in Leeds. He went to New York and stayed.
Yes.
And then they got together. And they said, okay, I'm working on this really cool new record label. It's run by Chez Damier and Ron Trent, who I knew. And he said, okay, well, we're going to go to a party tonight. Do you want to come? And I said, of course I want to come. So we met at a flat, and I don't know whose the flat was.
Roberto's.
Yeah,
Roberto's.
Now you remember. So we met at Roberto's flat, who I now got.
Yep.
And yes. And then we kind of it was like a pre-club, and I was really nervous and excited. I'd never been to a New York club, let alone the Sound Factory, to see Junior Vasquez play all night. And I think we had maybe a little bit of a pre-drink, pre-party. We got ready, didn't we? Because I don't think we even went there till, what time did you go?
2 o'clock in the morning.
2 in the morning.
Yeah, we didn't go into 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because we were hanging out at Roberto's place, having drinks and stuff, and then we were preparing to go to the night. Yeah.
So you only arrived kind of at the Sound Factory at 2 a.m., wouldn't you? And it would run through till 12, 12 the next day. I mean, I think I was in there for like full 10, 12 hours.
Yeah. There was a lot of inspiration for us then. I think it inspired us so much that when you invited me to the UK for the first time, I think we were still running off that adrenaline of New York moments, and us going in the studio at the first time, which was the dedication of Josh, actually, which turned out to be dedication of Josh, and Josh was an old girlfriend of yours who just passed away
special track,
at the time. And I just thought that it's funny because dedication to Josh and Forever Mona. Mona was Steve's girlfriend.
I didn't know that.
Yes, little Mona. Yes.
Okay.
And we were hanging out in New York so much, and I said, and Jamie says, well, what are you going to name the track? And Forever Mona. And because I was just so used to Mona dancing with us, and that's how Forever Mona became Forever Mona. So,
which you did with Stacey Pullen.
Yeah, we did.
And the
with
record
Stacey.
came out on Serious Grooves, and it was called the Classic EP.
Yes.
And then you very kindly, my girlfriend Joss, who you did meet. So I came with Joss to New York.
Yeah.
And we were at the Sound Factory, weren't we? And then and you remembered that. I think you stayed at our flat when you first came to Leeds.
I did.
And then Joss did sadly pass away in 93.
Yes.
And then I went off, and then you named that. That was a very nice thing you did. You named it a dedication to Joss, and you put that. I mean, it was just one night we'd Ben, in Square Dance Studios
Yes.
in Nottingham,
Yes.
which weirdly enough is Charles Webster, where he comes from, who turned on, is another incredible deep house producer, you know, but we'd only had, I don't know, a few hours, so we had the vibe, and then we'd just done a quick, I think you'd mainly done the live pass actually, and then it was recorded onto a tape, a TDK 90 tape, and
We
all
were
you had was
famous
the
for
tape.
cassettes in the day.
You had
We
the
were
cassette,
famous for
but
cassettes.
you pressed it. You must have pressed it off the tape.
I did. Well,
Because
come on, you know what I mean?
and it
Because we
sounds
pressed off
but it
cassettes.
sounds great. There's a really nice quality to it.
Yes. Well, you know, cassettes were no joke back then. I mean, they were. I mean, was it before the age of CDs? That was our reference point because everyone didn't have a DAT machine.
Yeah, we didn't have the DAT.
No, we didn't have a DAT machine. And then Tascam made the pitch control deck, which was heaven for me because I was able to now start requesting it when I would come play over that they have a pitch control cassette because I'm playing tracks off of cassettes. Back at the Institute, we played off reel.
Wow.
Yeah. So we
and the
played
music
reel.
box with Ron Hardy as well, right?
Yeah,
He played off reel?
No.
Really?
So we were playing. No, we gave Ron Hardy Derek's vinyl, but for us in the Music Institute, we had the reel to reel.
Wow,
So we had reel to reel pitch control deck plus 2 turntables.
Well, tell me a little bit about the Music Institute because you were really involved in that, and that is now an absolutely iconic club moment in techno history, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it was one we considered probably in the Western world, probably the first official techno club because we named it New Generation on Friday nights, which were an outlet for Derek, May, and Juan Atkins, and Kevin Saunderson, and D-Win. So we wanted to carve that while me and Alton took inspiration. Alton Miller took inspiration from you guys back to basics.
Yeah, I know.
So
I didn't know that at the time. And years later, I was researching a piece for Back to Basics.
Yeah.
And I saw the flyer.
Yeah,
I saw the flyer. Back to Basics at the Music Institute.
Yeah, Back to Basics. So that's what was happening back then, man. And we were, again, just young, inspired people who were party goers, who wanted to see something different. We didn't want to see something different. We wanted to see something that we created that was reminiscent of what we had seen. So we were going back between New York, Detroit, and Chicago. So these were our 3 reference points, and DC occasionally. So these were our reference points for the culture, you know. And we realized that while Alton and George got a chance to experience Larry full on, by the time I got to New York, it was his last year. They were closing the garage.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were going to start. I didn't
So
get
what
a
year
chance
would that have been?
That had to be like 88, 89.
Okay,
maybe?
so it was going
right
through the 80s.
Yeah. Because I think like 88, 89 because it was just closing, and I remember K-Han. You know. K-Han was also a member of the Paradise Garage as well. And so K-Han would hang out with us in Detroit.
Kelly, right?
Kellyanne.
Yeah.
Miss Kellyanne.
Miss Kellyanne.
And I miss her though, actually. I really miss her.
She
was one of my first girlfriends in Detroit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now we're finding out the real. Yeah.
Yeah, she was my first girlfriend in Detroit. And we were just party kids, man, who wanted to create something that we hadn't seen before, that we had seen at the same time. But only we wanted to see a multicultural kind of environment, and it turned out to be, it was a success for us in the short-lived years.
So you'd play on the Friday then?
Saturday.
Saturday.
So Saturday, the club was built on Saturday, which was Back to Basics.
Okay.
We added New Generation, the Next Generation for Friday.
So you were the Next Generation, you and Alton?
No. We were the Back to Basics.
Okay.
The Next Generation was Cabin,
okay.
Juan, and it made sense. Because,
so actually the Next Generation was the Belleville Free.
Yeah, well,
who were widely known as the originals, and then you, who were the Next Generation, were Back to Basics.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we would, so we considered them being the Next Generation because we were sold on where we were.
Yeah.
You know, we were sold by the Tony Humphreys and the Knuckles and Timmy Ray.
So you were getting influenced by New York as well as...
Exactly, very much so. New York was such an intricate part also, I think, of the combination of what we were trying to accomplish, and it happened, man. It happened. So much inspiration lies in music and being inspired.
And how long would the Music Institute? How long did that last?
2
for you?
years. 2 years, man. It's like that's the short.
Every week though.
Yes, every week. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was very, very short lived. And but again, like any business or anything you create, when there's more than one head, it's a monster. And so, sometimes people, I can imagine
I like that.
what they
You create more than one head is a monster.
Yeah, it
Wow.
is. Anything more than one head is a monster. Yeah. So it turned into a monster for us. We were 3 people, like we invited someone else in to be our 4th partner, which was obviously we just opened the door to cancer. And so that whole cancer just pretty much messed us up as a unit and visionaries. And so, yeah. And so it launched us off to go to do other things.
And when did you meet Ron Trent? And when was the start
Ron
of
Trent
that?
didn't come out till afterwards. I mean, you're talking about 88 versus 92.
Sure.
I met Ron in 92.
92, really. So that was a big kind of. But obviously, you're working on your solo stuff at KMS of I Never Knew Love, and obviously Can You Feel It? So those come out. Those come out on KMS with Kevin Saunderson as your first records, then.
Yes, But how me and Ron met was Carl Bias. And Carl Bias, I have to take note to it, from Master C&J.
Yeah.
He kept pushing me. You got to meet this guy, Ron. You got to meet. He kept. I was living in New York at the time, and I came to Chicago and I would visit. And he said, "You got." And so one of my trips back to Chicago, he took me by Ron's place. I met Ron. We kicked it off really well. By this time, I still have stuff in New York, and I'm moving back to Detroit. And so I asked him, did he want to come to Detroit? So we brought him to Detroit, and then we pit stopped to New York, and then we came back to Detroit. So that whole weekend was such inspiration. I think that weekend we wrote Be My, and You Want to Be My Friend. And we wrote...
Which studio? Where
it was KMS. Well, actually, KMS had moved, so we took over the space.
Okay.
So Calvin had moved into his studio, into his home, and we kept the rental place, the building that KMS was in, but because I think Calvin board was really big, it was an old Neve board, he let us keep it there with the speakers and some of the gear. So that was how, we had like pretty much the B room studio, because we had the B room and the A room. And so he pretty much kind of gave us the B room pretty much, that we then brought into the A room, which then, we had all accessible to all the compressors and the gates and all that stuff.
That's why your stuff sounded so great though.
Yeah, but
that was not bedroom sounding records. That was
but we didn't
studio sounding records.
Yeah, but nobody was a pro to know what you were really trying to create. You just knew what the speakers told you. And the speakers said, it sounds good. So it
was good.
So it was stuck. We were stuck. I love this moment. We were stuck.
Yeah.
So that same feeling, we were talking earlier about being stuck.
Well, there are other records. I mean, that element of being, we'll come back to that in 1 second. I'm just interested in were there kind of like a lot of tracks on tape that didn't make the cut from that era? Did you have to feel like you were in the moment, you were stuck in that moment, and that came across on the record for it to be released, or is that pretty much your output from the time? Did you try and get everything out on vinyl that was done in the studio?
There was a couple of things that was off cassette.
Yeah,
I won't say what they were, but I mean it's obvious they were off cassette because. They were almost like demos. They would, and it was like we didn't record that. But we put it on cassette.
Like car stuff.
We were using cassettes for reference.
Yeah.
So we had the studio downstairs. We had a DJ booth upstairs, in the lounge area. So we were going back and forth from the studio to the DJ booth. So cassette was our reference point. So a couple of times we end up hitting the record on cassette, but not thinking that it was going to stick, and we didn't record it to that. And so then, So then that's how.
That was really interesting on the weekend with Ron, because I think one of the things we were talking about was that the Prescription sound had a little bit of everything from those cities. It had Chicago, it had Detroit, but it had New York importantly as well. Everyone just seems to always boil it down to Chicago and Detroit,
No.
and it was techno and house. But actually, that's underplaying the influence of New York and the dance culture and the clubs and the swinging, rhythms and beats and masters at work. You know? Little Louis Vega and Kenny Dope, and what they put into, because they were playing at Sound Factory Bar on the Wednesday, and then which I also went to at the same time. We went to the Saturday with Junior Vasquez, and that was also being schooled. I mean, there was incredible in there. It really, I loved that place. And they had their own, obviously mixed with a lot of Latin influence, percussion, Cuban. It was a real mix. But you took your elements and did your own unique thing that became Prescription Underground that you worked on for a long time with Rom, right? Shane Rom.
Yeah, but then again, a lot of times there was also inspiration coming out from New York. One of the DJs, he's no longer with us, Troy Parrish.
Oh, yeah.
And Troy Parrish, we would go to New York, and Troy Parrish would remix our records right before our eyes. It was just unbelievable.
Wow.
It would be unbelievable. He would loop stuff he would play like the Morning Factory. He would play a couple of our tracks, and he would loop. There's a live tambourine player and there's a live percussion player. So to hear, and it was about maybe a 150 capacity room, to hear this or your sound in a compact underground setting with some live elements, it was just
and that was Troy Parrish.
Troy Parrish. So I would forever be thankful for Troy, because Troy gave us such a shot back in the arm. He really gave us a shot back in the arm. He knew who we were, but he wasn't playing because he knew who he was. He was playing because he truly felt the music, and you could see that when he was playing the tracks, that he really felt the music. So
I never saw him.
Yeah. Okay. So for us, it was like our real inspiration coming out of New York was actually Troy Parrish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where would he play?
We played in I can't think of the club in the Village. Actually, he was playing I think it was like a Tuesday night in the Village.
Because back then, every single night you could go out.
Yeah, you could go. You could find a place every night in New York. But I forget the place he was playing at. But it was in the Village. It was, I think, like off of Avenue A.
Okay.
In Houston, I believe, if I can.
Because it's interesting you mentioned Avenue A, because that's when another incredible experience that was really meant a lot to me in New York was down in Alphabet City, which was Save the Robots.
Yes.
Remember that place?
Yes.
Oh, that was a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That was, I guess, like my first experience of after hours. It was like after hours culture, after hours clubs.
Yeah.
It came from Save the Robots. Yeah.
No, we all got a lot of inspiration, man, from it. We got a lot of inspiration for it. For me, just trying to transfer the emotion that we got. Like, again, Thank You, for instance, when we got together a second time, which was the Chuckles, which was Thank You.
Which was Sound Factory inspired.
Was very Sound Factory inspired. But I thought we were onto something with the whole kind of backward hi-hats kind of. I mean, the swooshes. Yeah. We thought we were onto something. Right? You have to admit.
Just to clarify that, so we formed like a little production. I guess it's not. It wasn't, I guess, a band, but like a production team called Chuggles, and we did a series of records. And the one you're talking about is called Thank You, which came out on Prescription, and it was definitely inspired by our night to the Sound Factory. And we just wanted something that Junior would play. We literally went in and said, right. I mean, we want to hear something, and we, like you said, we had all the kind of backwards cymbals and loops going. Remember the jump, the slamming 909 snares and the. But with the vocals, and then one thing that we did that was specifically for the Sound Factory is like, we were just previously talking about this, but like, obviously sound systems are in mono, but in the Sound Factory, Junior would mess with the crossovers and the stereo, or the left and right, so that you'd have vocals just coming. So we actually had the show me coming left, right, left, and we built up the energy.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, we went back to Sound Factory, and he played it for like 20 minutes. Yeah. When he liked a track, he wouldn't just play it. Yeah. He'd tease it in. Yeah. He'd like bring it out, put it back in again, and we were just like, oh my gosh, he's. Yeah,
but technically we were designing that for the Sound Factory.
We did.
We were designing
but it worked.
Yeah, it worked. And even still today, to me, it brings emotions back to me when I hear it, because not only because it was a great message in it. Thank You was we sampled D Train.
D Train.
You know,
Where's D Train?
Now we can say it, but
Yeah, you can.
It was so cool. It was so cool.
Yeah.
We did it, and I did some overdubs with his vocal on it, and we end up getting something kind of special out of it.
That's
know?
right.
So,
yeah.
Man, I'm forever thankful in that time
Experience
for us to be able to call it.
And it was thank you.
Yeah,
we were thankful.
Yeah, we were again.
So that's even the name of the record. You know, it was about giving thanks.
It's
called Thank You.
Yeah, it was called Thank You. Yeah. It was and I'm still thankful today, man. I'm just I'm just amazed at how time has gone by. I was looking at some of the wisdom that Quincy Jones
who recently
left
passed,
behind, and some of the wisdom that he left behind too. But for me, I learned a lot from Quincy, because Quincy kind of gave you the idea that you can put anything together. He was the first one to show me that if you own a song, you can do it as many times as you want to do it. If it's an instrumental, you can then write vocals to it. I didn't know any of that in the technical world, but he was doing it. He was doing it in real time. And I thought, whoa, he can do this? He can record a record 20 years ago and come back 20 years later and add vocals to it? Oh, whoa. Or he can do a record and then cover his own record. Oh, he can do that. I mean, he was doing it. To me, it was very innovative at the time, because no one was doing it.
No, he did it.
He did it. Nobody was taking their works and really reworking them. So I was really, really grateful and thankful. And
that's the dub version. Obviously, it comes from reggae, Jamaican reggae. Yeah. But I mean, the Tubbies and Scientists and Prince Jammy. But the dub version was that philosophy got into New York, and it was very much Larry Levan, Peach Boys, claps, all delaying off. It's like it was and there's the dub versions that I always. Found myself attracted to. Like the everyone would make the full vocal mix. Yeah. Then on the B1, that's where we're gonna have some fun, and it was the dub. Yeah. And I always kind of felt that dub was, it was in the moment. It had that you were stuck in that moment with the dub, and that's when you had the real kind of feeling was in that track. Yeah,
I tell you, two people that were really big inspirations for me in them days were DJ Pierre, and DJ Duke.
Yeah.
So both of these guys to me. Were doing they were doing another level. I mean, they were doing another level. Maybe you had to be there to catch it, but what we were experiencing, oh my God, the Wild Pitch era was just absolutely amazing.
The first time I heard that, I'll just share a little memory of my first memory was not actually the Sound Factory. It was actually you mentioned him before. It was Tony Humphries, and he came to play a shum. Not the Club Shum, which is obviously a very famous London acid house club, but Danny Rampling did a Shum warehouse party, and I'd missed Shum, so he brought Tony Humphries over to do that. And at the time, it was kind of Italo screamers. Everyone was just like big piano drops, everyone hands in the air, very ecstatic music, shall we say. And then I remember hearing Tony Humphries, he was playing his like Jersey beats. And at first I was like, okay, it's on a groove, this is okay. And I bet, just keep, and then I was like, I wasn't quite sure. And then, but he dropped Pierre, Wild Pitch, with the power, I got the power, with the sample, I think is it Master Blaster? I think it's called. Yeah. And it was just building them up and up and up and up. These very long records. They were 10, 12, 15 minutes long. Yeah. But it got to the point, and it was just, I'd never seen the crowd react at a different point in the record, because normally it'd be short, 16, 32 bar drums drop, boom, everyone's on your. But this was just like, just build, throw some more stuff on, and then the place went absolutely crazy. It went nuts, and it was so much more real, the craziness that was in that moment, than all the other clubs I've been to when it was just drop. Wow. When you've worn people out with the big the big break, with the big moment. Yeah. But like when you actually you've got them on a groove and they're dancing, properly dancing, as you said, and then you just it was something else. Yeah.
Man, this is why I always have, and I will always believe that it's so important to give homage to those who came before us. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for these guys, the Tonys, the Larrys, the Timmys, I mean, so many guys, Dave Mancuso, all these guys who were building a stage for us, actually. You know, just as I think we built one for the next generation to come to be inspired by. You know, that was really, really a great moment to be new. You know, that was a great moment to be new in the game. You know, and the fact that most of us were just trying. I don't even think who was thinking about trying to be a star, who was thinking about trying to be popular. I don't even think that was a thought that crossed one's mind. I think what crossed our mind was hearing people hear it, you know, or watching people's reaction to it. I mean, and once you've had, and this is probably to anyone, but once you've had your record played in a place or space or by someone that means a lot to you, hands down, it's everything. It's everything at that moment. Like I have lived on that inspiration up to 30 years later. I mean, that's how powerful inspiration can be to one.
Yeah.
Is that you discover something 30 years ago and you're still inspired by it. You know, for me,
and that's what we were talking about. I mean, it you know, it was about the moment. We then, you know, so that, you know, that was all that real kind of early energy in the early 90s, and then we kind of didn't really see each other for you know, I think it was nearly 20 years, and we had like, you know, that series of Chuggles records. There was I Remember Dance as well, which we should go back to. But then we got back and we wrote a track called The Moment. I hadn't seen you for 20 years, but like one day, you know, you had a gig in Leeds, and then we were in the moment. It was just like the moment. The moment, and you know, and I think there is something that we keep on coming back to, which is being stuck in that moment. If you can just get into that place, you know, in the studio or in the club, and then I think that's what's, you know, the essence of house music, you know.
Yes, you know, I'm firsthand. I'm gonna tell you, I've been stuck. I'm still getting stuck. But I think there's something so amazing about being stuck. You know, this is my personal experience. Is being stuck to me is almost like digging for oil, and you know you hit something at the bottom. You know there's something there, you know, and you keep digging, and because you know that there's more there.
I love that.
And then you're just down there, and then you
getting filthy.
You just really getting filthy, and then you realize at the end of the day that you have discovered something that is special. So it's not just about creating beats, or not just about trying to create a track. I think we were truly laying our emotions, our passion. I think we were laying it all on the table at that time, because we didn't know. We didn't know. So how do you translate this? It was almost like kids playing with toys for the first time. How do you know how to operate this? How do you know how to do this? And I think that we found the space in it, you know, that will allow us to go on, you know, and decide that we want labels afterwards. You know, because I mean, I tried, you tried, yours is still standing. Thank God,
still here.
It's still here.
Well, it does feel like that to me. It does become, you know, music industry does become about survival. So, you know, we're survivors. You know, we really are. It's tough, and that, you know, the lifestyle and everything. We've lost a lot of friends. I mean, you know, you've already mentioned a few people that are not here anymore. It's, you know, it's not. It's a risky place to be. So I do feel like we put our lives on the line. You know, to do what we do, to be in that moment. You know, it has a price. You know. So it's, but you know, but yeah, we're still here. You know, it's great. That's why I wanted to kind of capture this moment again. You know, I just felt that it was at 30 years we needed to really thank you, the original track, everyone that was just such an important part of the label, and you know, you really were, you know, a crucial part of that for me as well, because I really felt like you taught me house music properly, because we came from, like, you know, probably trying to do tracks, and what I remember is, my memory is, we'd be in the studio and we'd be trying to do, you know, verse, chorus, middle eight, but chorus, which is a traditional pop format. And then just because it was so kind of indoctrinated into, like, that's how you make a song, and you were just not bothered about it at all. All you wanted to do was just, you spent ages on the drums, get the drums good, get the bass line. No, not fitting that bass line. We need another bass line. And until the drums and bass were there, nothing else was happening. And then it was the point when you could have it on the desk, lay it out. We had 16 channels. It was a Soundcraft Spirit, if you remember. And then you could have, like, the vocals, the synths, you know, whatever element came in afterwards was kind of secondary to the groove and the energy that you put through the desk, and I was like, oh, okay, so you know.
Well, you know what? We thank Chicago for that. We thank Chicago for that because Chicago, in its earlier infant stages, were very basic tracks, but they tracks that could work alone. So they were drums that could work alone. So I always thought that if a track can work alone, then anything on top of it is magical.
Yeah, it's like
There was always my philosophy is that if you can strip it down and still dance to it, then anything you add on top will be just luxury. You know, so I think that's how we graduated to making sure that the feel, because the drum and the bass is the feel.
Yeah.
You know, that drives the song. It's the feel of it. And I think that if house was truly based off of feeling, as they say, we were truly searching for our feeling at that time, feelings at that time.
And we found it. I mean, you used to come and stay at the farm. We were.
I remember, man. I had so many good memories.
Yeah,
man.
just outside Leeds.
Man,
we used to hijack you. We just basically. I did. Going back to what you said. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really kind of you to remember. Like, but I do think that was the first tour that you and Ron came to the UK that we arranged through 2020 Vision, right? And we did the Sub Club in Glasgow, which was magical, still one of the best clubs on the planet. We did Back to Basics. I think it was Ministry of Sound.
I think we did Nottingham as well.
And then he did it was amazing. He did the Marcus Garvey Centre with DIY. And in all honesty, that was one of the most magical moments in music for me, because I wasn't playing, so the DIY played with you, and I was on the dance floor all night. They had that big, because it was a place they normally was for reggae gigs, so they had the big, massive DIY sound system and the big hall, and you guys on there, like absolutely, for me, peak time prescription. You and Ron, and it was. I think everyone left that place totally changed. None of us came out of there alive. You know what I mean? With the same brain.
No, you're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right. Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
And then that was your first prescription tour, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you stayed at the farm, and we'd hijack you. And we'd get you in with Carl, and you'd stay, for a few days. And
but funny enough, that wasn't my first time over, though.
Right.
First, Josh. That was before me and Ron. Josh was way before me and Ron, actually.
Right. Yes,
Thank You was way before me and Ron. We just happened to put it out when we put prescription on.
Later,
but we recorded that early on.
Yeah. So you stayed with Josh and me first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And then it was the farmhouse.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember. I remember this clearly.
That's a while ago to remember.
But man,
chronology.
Man. Well, I think this is really important to know and talk about. I hear. I don't want people to think that, we deserve a special privilege because we've been at this game a long time, a very, very long time. And it's a lot of sacrificing that goes on in a very long time of being in the game. And I think that the receipts are to show themselves. Again, I'm not looking for an award.
I think you should have one, though.
Yeah.
We're happy to give you one.
I'm not looking for one. I'm not looking for one, but I do think it's important that people know who were trailblazing on the behalf of a generation that will come behind us. I mean, you have to look at that. You have to look at that. I think now we're in such an independent generation of everything, yet you have access to everything. But you're independent from everything. So nobody wants to give credit. Nobody wants to give reference. And so we're not in the days of referencing anymore. We're not in the days of being able to point to a source or origin. That's all distorted. And I think it's very important. We've known each other for 30 years now. It's important to know, that 30 years ago we were in the game.
And we're still in the game.
We're still in the game
somehow.
For sure. That's a lot of time, man. A lot of people think
it's a lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 10 years after House.
Yeah.
Which makes us a generation at this point.
Yeah.
Which makes us a generation after House.
That's interesting way of looking at it. Yeah. And it felt a lot less than 10 years after House in the UK as well. If you really see 1988 as the year that it really went crazy
Yeah.
in the UK and Europe. Even
Yeah.
though I know there was house music before. We meeting in 92 is it's 4 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
no,
really
no,
still
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
fresh.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's still pretty fresh.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So I think this is important. I think this is important also because we won't be around forever as well.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things that we have as artists that artists before us didn't have was this personal reference that we could talk about it now, as opposed to being governed by record companies or being governed by people who owns your likeness, who owns your image. We're so thankful in that way, man. And we walked away owning our own rights.
It was counterculture. It was rebellious, and I very much remember feeling. That
I'm glad that we experienced that, because I think if we didn't, we would have been caught in the matrix, really caught in the matrix. I think we would have been depending on other people to be a deciding factor of where we would go. And again, as I said earlier, we weren't even thinking about it. There was no destination. There was no time. There was no time limit. But when society started making you aware of it, you had to be aware of it. So we had to then start to focus. And oh wow, I'm creating this. Now I got to focus in on it. And I think that's really important to take note of.
Absolutely.
Because in our adolescent days, and I tell anyone, I still don't know nothing. But however, I know a feeling. Okay, I know a feeling. You just refer back to this moment, man, of saying that, we're still learning. We're still learning and trying to reach that level, which is what I don't understand about those who have put so many years in something. It's like almost like, I was sharing with another DJ friend of mine the other day. It's like, dude, you've come all the way this far to do what? Turn back around? What? For what? That means like I'm in the middle. I've come all this through the woods, through the forest, and I'm right in the middle of the desert. And now what do I want to do? I want to turn back around to what? To what?
In the mortal words of Adonis,
no way
far
back?
gone. There's no way back.
Yeah,
and that's from the starting point. Too far, let alone now.
Still from the standpoint. Yeah. And so, I like to address us with that as well. Is that we've come too far to throw in the towel.
Yeah, to throw
because time has changed.
But to be so far away from throwing in the towel. Though, just before this chat, you've been playing me your new music you've done in Paris. You're really excited about it. It's alternative. There's electronica in there. There's people wouldn't even recognize perhaps a classic Chez Damier apart from one track with a vocal in there, and but you're still pushing. I want new, like you're saying. And there's something that. That drive for new music and to keep pushing on that I think you have and I have, and that's what keeps me going with the record label. It's what keeps you going as an artist, and I think there's I think you were quite like reticent about even looking at the past, but I think there's a way of kind of like it's a good point to say, okay, well actually that was a nice moment we had there. And then one thing that I had that we were just chatting about is a whole box of the DATs from back at that time from the student. They've just gathered dust. I haven't even had a DAT player for 15, 20 years. Some of them don't even work. Some chew up the DAT. But me and you had like a row of Chuggles DATs like that, and we did 30, 40 minute long passes. And I've been sat there. I'm now able to edit them up, go back, revisit them. Maybe we can interpret them in different ways.
Before the Ricardo mixes.
Yeah.
Okay. Before Ricardo started doing his 30 and 40-minute mixes,
yes.
we were doing.
Ricardo Villalobos. We were there on the 40-minute mixes.
We were doing the 40-minute
well,
mixes.
do you know that's actually a weird story about 2020 Vision got its name. I mean, it two ways, but it came as an idea because we were doing one of these long dubs on a remix called of African Dream, who's Mr. Wunster out of New York, who you used to love, or you'll know that one. And we were doing a remix, and we'd done the mix. It was in the bag, so we were just having fun with the dub again. And then we're doing a live pass, and we literally stopped the DAT, and it stopped at exactly 20 minutes and 20 seconds. And my mate Huggy, who I remember went, "Hey, 2020 Vision, mate." And I went, "Oh wow, that's a great name for the label," cool. Because like it means perfect vision of music. Yeah. So even the label name came out of those big long dubs.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. It's good information to know. I didn't know that. You know. Yeah. Well, happy 30th.
Thank you.
What can we expect?
We can expect me and you getting back together again. getting these, looking through these DATs and re-envisaging them, and who knows? Maybe I think what we're saying is we deserve to do, even if it's just one new track for the collection, because we did 30 years, we did something around 10, 20
years. Yeah,
we need to do something, but I think it's going to have to be different though. It's not going to be sitting in the 90s house sound. I mean, I'm actually quite inspired by hearing you go pretty nuts on your recent stuff, and you just played me a track that sounds, I can only describe it as like indie alternative, maybe. So I mean, what's going on with your new stuff? What's a little background on Paris and the
wow, okay, so the new project, H2H project, which is Chez Damier and Ben Veteran presents, was just an idea we had because we both we enjoyed the energy that each of us had. And so it's almost like watching someone with the same level of energy that you have, only you all know how to manage it. So when you put two powers together and you know how to manage it, something special comes out of that.
Nice, yeah.
Something really special comes out of that. One of the things that we didn't do, like maybe previous experiences, was fight the energy with the indifference. Because they know it's now we start to realize where our weak and where our strong points were with each other. And once we started to do that, it was very, very easy to then start to focus in on it. And we wanted to make sure that we agree all the way to the whole journey. In fact, we were so specific about it that we've never worked on a project apart from each other. So I spend like 6-7 times a year in Paris for the last 5 years writing this project.
Oh, right, okay.
So it was like, we didn't. When I came home to Chicago, it was done until we meet each other again. So we were always saying, so I would build always my tours around this project.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. So we were able to accomplish this project touring because that was our goal, was to do it. So just in short words, I'm so proud of the project, first of all, and to be quite honest with you, nobody has to like it, but I'm so proud of it. And it's one of them things that that it's going to touch somebody at some place in their life. And I think that because me and Ben are very dynamic people, we're also high energy, and we have very addictive personalities. And so when you start getting into the psyche of it, you start realizing that you have addictive personality. How do you feed someone else? How do you take what we have chemistry-wise, and how do you feed someone else with it? That to me was just mind-boggling. And I'm going to tell you something else was mind-boggling, was if you listen to the whole project, the tempos we used and the energy we got on was unbelievable. I could assure you that you would guess all the wrong tempos. And you're a DJ of more than 30 years.
Okay, let's try it.
The
B2 that I said I liked, I'm feeling that was quite slow, but I might be wrong. I'm going to guess 120.
B2, what was the B2?
There's the one with the kind of like breaky beat electronica. It's the last, I think it was the last track.
With the violins?
Yeah.
Oh, no, 115.
Really? There you go. I'm
5 over.
115. Yeah, because it felt slow.
Oh, okay. yeah. But the energy, we were messing around with tempos.
Okay.
So we started to realize that Ben was at 127, 130.
Yeah. Techno.
Techno, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was anywhere from 99 on up. So we started playing around with the idea that, wow, what if we can get more energy out of without making it faster? How can we tap into this? Because I think that most people speed up records because they want the energy. So you want to catch the people, so you speed it up to make the energy. And we thought, but what if we found a way to do it without speeding it up? So again, I mean, just I want to think we found it. Some of it, it's not the Febreze for sure technology, but it is something science wise that we discovered with energies that could make something 110 sounds like something 115 or 117. You know,
the kind of the king of that as well for me was Andrew Weatherall. You know, sadly passed as well.
Yes,
and
yes.
Weatherall always wanted to slow it down,
Yes.
slow it down, slow it down.
Yes.
And what I realised is, like, in first, because if you are used to a sense of the only point where you notice it to the ear is the change. If you're coming down, suddenly it's slow. But actually, if you just once you maintain it, the brain gets used to that tempo, and then if you start like slow and you increase slowly, the brain is it doesn't feel slow at all. Yeah. So then you have Sean Johnson, who's a love from outer space, who was Weatherall's partner and as a duo, and he's continued it on, and they had it like not above 120 thing. Yeah. Like you didn't play a record above 120, but they'd play for 8 hours. And you'd be so in there, and you didn't need to go faster. Yeah. You're in there.
Well, since the great Frankie Knuckles left us some great nuggets, and the great Quincy Jones left us some nuggets, I think we ought to leave the people some great nuggets as well. And one of the great nuggets is that moment where things don't have to be obvious. They don't have to be obvious. A tempo doesn't have to be obvious. Even a 4/4 doesn't have to be obvious. You take a foot drum out of a 4/4 and the energy in it is amazing. It's just the energy in it, So I think that we all are different kind of doctors at what we do. And I'm offended sometimes when the world and the gatekeepers want to put us all in a category and say this is a blanket, this is what a DJ is, this is what a producer is, and it's bullcrap. Because we all, like doctors, we all have a different kind of practice in how we approach things. And I think for me, that's what made all the other genre of music so great, from jazz to R&B to even country and western, was the fact that everyone came with the serving of something that was going to be different from the next man, and so, I think that we can say that 30 years now, we've seen 4 decades of dance music. 4 decades of dance music, that's crazy.
It really is, yeah. And I think the thing that I was speaking to a really good friend of mine, James Holroyd, who's tour DJ for the Chemical Brothers and also as a resident DJ with me at Back to Basics. We were just chatting about this, and he was just like, ever think about it now? When we look back in 1989, 1969 was 20 years ago, and that for us seemed a world apart. That was the hippies, that was, the end of the Beatles, and between that you got all the 70s, what happened in the 80s, but it'd take the same kind of distance, from say, 89 to 2009, or even like into 2019, and then what actually changed, and then the amount that things have moved, it's pretty, it's amazing how consistent it's been. You can say that, but it's amazing kind of how little it's changed, because I can listen to a lot of stuff from from 30 years ago now, and it's still pretty much the same thing I'm going to hear if I walk into a club in London tomorrow night, which is strange. Don't you think there's not been a huge amount of kind of change in dance music?
Well, change or newness.
I was trying to find the right word. I couldn't quite find the right word. It's evolution, maybe.
Well, okay. So, but in order to understand or even suggest that, one has to say what is timeless and what is not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I went back to from Tribe America, Tribe UK. I went back to a lot of eras that I thought for sure would be a good weapon to use, but I guess I wasn't the doctor to use it, and it was very impressionable for me when I was on the dance floor. But now as a teacher of the dance floor, it's like, I can't get away with it.
Right.
And I know it. And I know I know it's good medicine for the people. That's what I'm saying. And I think the reason why you still hearing the same stuff over, because just people start making good songs a lot too, also as well. People just stopped making stuff that people just felt good about either singing or listening to. Think about it. Whatever happened to them days? Everything doesn't have to be so serious and so. I
love this point, and I think it might seem like a small point. It's not. It's a big point. Why did everyone have to get so serious? And that was a real thing for me as well. It's like, I'm watching DJs and they just don't look like they're having any fun. They have no idea of how lucky they are. Yeah. They're getting up there. They're getting some big ones, taking a lot of money, and they just got this kind of face on, miserable kind of face on. Like, I'm not even really connected, and like, I'm amazed. It's like, do you have any understanding of how lucky you are? And at least give some energy back, Yeah. Let's not. We won't go into the old.
There are givers and there's takers.
Yeah.
I think that we've always found ourselves wanting to give. And I think that makes the difference in probably our outcome. And that's probably the difference why we have sustained so long. I think because it wasn't about taking, but it was also about giving. And we weren't afraid to sacrifice our position for someone else. And I think that's also very important to be noted. There's a lot of people who have not been advanced in life for people who felt threatened by the advancement. People felt threatened, you're going to do me better, or people are going to like you more, and so you don't give them a light. But
that's exactly this is what I think. I just realised when you're saying that. When we're going back to thank you, what I'm so thankful about is I was literally just a kid that you met, a night before Sound Factory in New York. But you gave me that time, and I was just starting out, and you did it. You've done it with a lot of people. You'll meet someone, and you'll instantly, okay, there's something about the, even if they've got no skills, they're not bringing. They're really not quite sure what I'm bringing to the party. But you were never condescending. You were never patronizing. You were just like in the studio together, and this is what we're gonna do. And that's a real gift. That's a real lovely thing to pass to other people. I know you've done it lots of times as well. There's been lots of producers you've kind of taken them under their wing, I don't think many people do that at all, and I don't think people do it enough now.
Yeah. Well, again, I just thought that that's the way it should go. Because. I'm not threatened by you, but what you bring to the table, okay, this is interesting. I mean, you really think about it. I mean, I think that we would be in a lot more advanced place if we weren't trying to put everything in one box. I think let things flourish the way they're going to flourish. But now it's so many people doing it. So now, I'm sure you as well. I mean, before I take a tour, I'm listening literally about 3 or 4 days. When I'm at home, I'm listening to really just different kind of music. I'm not listening to house music or dance or techno music.
No, I'm not.
But when I'm getting ready to go on the road, I'm listening to it, and I'm really surprised at how much time consuming it is.
It's commitment. Studio is a massive commitment.
Well,
that's why I haven't been in for a long time, because I'm all or nothing. And unless I'm going to go in there, I have to go deep or go home. That's what I say. Well, if you're going to scratch the surface, don't even bother, because there's people out there that are really, really good now, and they're spending their entire focus on it. So I realized you know what, I'm the record label guy, and I'm cool with that. I'll be the record label guy. You guys actually, you guys made the records, and I'll put them out. But, it doesn't mean to say at some point I might get that itch again. Maybe there's one more. Maybe there's one more. Rodeo for me in it to go around the houses, and because I would like to go for it again, but I just don't like to. Be half-hearted. I don't like to scratch the surface. I think you've got to go in to get good results. It's not going to come overnight.
You got to go in.
You got to go in.
You got to go in.
You have to.
You got to go in, and going in sometimes requires a great isolation.
Yeah.
And some of us, and some of us can't do it. Some of us can't juggle that. Some of us have lives that requires more of us. Where we don't have that. When we were single guys, the world was our oyster. I can stay out, I can hang out. Then you know what family is, and then that changed that thought. So now everything has to be put in perspective. So now I need my writing time, I need my creative side time. They all have to be separate times. There isn't no, all in one. It's just like I need them times. I think a lot of people think, and maybe for some musicians, maybe it works. Like even when you go to other cities and people think that's all you want to do is do music. Music is not on my mind like that. I'll say it again. I am an inspired artist, which means that ain't nothing happening till the inspiration comes. And if it ain't there, it simply ain't there. But it's not on demand. And I love the fact that some producers can be on demand. I'm hungry, I'm on demand. I can't be on demand. I can't be on demand because I think that the ingredients are too intense for me to just. I mean, come on, how many chords are there? The same chords. I mean, come on. I mean, okay, so the notes are the same. Ain't nobody creating no new notes. That's for sure. But we can create new sounds. You know, so
and
you
new
know,
ways of putting things together as well.
Of course,
honestly,
of course.
That EP you just played me with Ben, the unreleased one. I don't know the name of it yet. Is you know, that's new. There's new, and it's only because you're juxtaposing your classic vocal maybe with, you know, something that's from jazz, and then there's some guitars that could be from rock, and then there's like breakbeats from electronica. But it's definitely trying new things.
Well, I think always, man, as a producer of any kind, we are only product of what's been fed to us. Okay, and we will all be in denial if we didn't express all the things that affected us.
Yeah.
You know, 80s was an amazing time to grow up musically. Because this is when we first started understanding the difference between the pop culture. So 80s was definitely, now we start making pop stars, you know, and we just had rock stars before, but now we're making pop stars. And it changed the game. It changed the game, how we hear music, how we see music. But one of the things that we did get, I think that was very valuable, was the combination of music. I mean, we had the spectrum. I mean, each country had its rendition of whatever was happening. And so, I mean, you were never hungry. You were never hungry because I think everyone fed off the next person, and they wanted to give the same equal good quality as the next country or the next producer were doing. I'm sure if you really look at who really inspires who, I think we will all be surprised. There's probably so many people who have been inspired by other people that you never even knew about, you know, but we all are that DNA, you know, that DNA is what was I raised on, what's in my DNA, what have I danced to, because as a music producer, me and Ben decided that we're architects, we're like designers, like we're not just trying to write music, but we're trying to design it, like
sound design,
like sound design, like
music design,
music
not just
design.
beyond sound design.
Yeah, exactly.
Experience design.
Exactly. We're definitely into this right now because we start to realize that there's other components now that we couldn't express early on. Like when you and I got together, we couldn't express what I can express now. When me and Ron got together, we couldn't express, me and MK, we couldn't express what we can express now because now we know a little bit more. And we know the ingredients a little bit more. And so now we're not just randomly going to do things. We're doing them on purpose. You know, so, and I just wanted to add that to the, you know, I think it's a good nugget.
It is.
For us to all be inspired by years to come, man. You know, I mean, years to come. So, you know, if you can, you know, who knows how this is going to play out after you leave the headquarters of 2020 Vision. But again, you must know and you must believe that you've served a lot of people, you know, in terms of goodness and music. You know, you got to know that. You know, you got to know, as we were talking before, how I think music is healing. For sure, it's healing. How many people, you know, that lives have been saved. You know, as Lil Lewis would say, music saved my life. I think it has saved a lot of us, actually, to be quite honest with us. You know, that was our refuge. You know, that was where we could go to be anything and everything and nothing at the same time, you know. But now we're just in a different time now. And so the question becomes, how do we take this time and maximize it? Do you see? How do we take this time and maximize it now? And I hope it's by doing what we're doing, man. You know, I hope, you know, by you taking on new artists and taking on new sounds, me taking on new artists, taking on new sounds, and it's just experimenting, you know. But I do hope that if you ever get that itch again, remember the basics, because the basic ingredients are always the same. Garlic tastes the same in every meal. It just, but it gives its own flavor.
Point. Yeah, but it's using
pepper is still pepper. And, you know, spices are still spices. And I think that when you have the foundation of a good spice, you want to hold on to it. You want to hold on to that good piece of spice. I mean, come on. technically, I always tell people that's what separates us. That's what separates us. What separates us is what's your ingredient. You know, what's your ingredient? What's the next man's ingredient?
How you put those ingredients together as well.
Well, how you put it is a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
But before you must
that's the
recognize.
mix. I'm all about the mix.
Yeah, but you must recognize the ingredient.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? What is that ingredient? What is it that's something that separates you from everyone else? You know, and I think that when some of us get it, we try to spread it nicely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we try to spread it nicely. I hope I'm not going too off the
No, I like it. This, I mean, and I do think that's in the mix though, because I do, you know, the cooking analogy is absolutely true for me, because you do have all the opportunities to have these ingredients, but everyone will cook the same meal a different way.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
That's fascinating to me.
Yes. Yes. And I think out of respect for everyone, we have to at least be able to appreciate the next man's version or rendition.
Yeah.
Of something.
That's true.
You know, that's why I have a problem with the ones who are in control of the game, that is gaslighting all of us into thinking that the world is one way when it's a whole nother way. You know, and you see it. You see the oppression, to be quite honest with you. I think the people who are controlling the game are more hindrance than they are helpful. And although they may think that they're helpful, let's look at the fruit. Look at the tree. You know, is anything growing from the tree? You know, and yet you have us all thinking that we should grow this way, we should be this way, we should act this way, we should record this way. Man, come on.
It's the system.
It's the system. It is in my system. I tell you that. You know,
I think we got loads there. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean,
was things pinging for a reason, or
someone's phone's pinging?
Oh right.
My phone ringing?
Oh shit! It's caught. Oh my god, Corte. We've been talking for hours, ages. Really? Well, we got loads. Thank you so much.
Not my fault. Not my fault.
Thank you so much. No, I'm not. All I love that was I love that. I'm just suddenly thinking maybe that's my son trying to.